Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking. It's so nice to be back with you. This time of the year we start thinking about fall of the year and different things that we think about during the fall of the years, like the leaves changing colors or the air started getting brisk in the afternoon, and especially in foods that we eat. Like the other day I brought you a one bowl apple cake that everybody seems to love. Well, today I'm going to bring you something with pumpkin, because pumpkin this time of year, pumpkin and apples, all the fall of the year is something that you think about. So today we're going to make a cornbread, a pumpkin cornbread. And what we're going to do, I'm going to start off, is I've got my cast iron skillet sitting over here, and I've got about a half a stick of butter in my cast iron skillet. Like I tell you, every kitchen should have a cast iron skillet. This is preheating at 400 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my oven while it's preheating. And once it goes off, I'll know it's ready. While that's preheating, we're gonna put our ingredients together. I've got two just plain boxes of Jiffy cornbread. Now, if you wanna make your own cornbread, absolutely. And I've even got a recipe posted down below with the recipes, how to make your own. But this is just so much simpler and it turns out just as well. I got the two boxes of Jiffy bread in here. To that, I'm going to add 2/3 a cup of milk. With the 2/3 cup of milk, I'm going to add 2 large eggs. That's 1. And y'all all know me. You know that my favorite thing in the whole world is pumpkin. So anything pumpkin, I'm all in, and especially cornbread. I grew up on cornbread with my grandparents and my mother and everything, so I love cornbread. The next ingredient we'll put is put it in the pumpkin. Now you want to use canned pumpkin, not pumpkin puree. Pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. So this is pumpkin puree. I've got 2/3 of a cup, and we'll put all this in here. And we'll try to get it all in here because I want every single little bit in here. But this is pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. And there's a huge difference. Pumpkin pie mix has all these spices, ingredients ready to make a pie. The puree is just pure pumpkin. Okay, I've got that in there, and I've got some pumpkin spices. Now, if you don't have pumpkin spices, you can use nutmeg and cinnamon and make your own. But I'm going to take a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spices. I'll put it right here in my bowl. I'm going to also add to that a half a teaspoon of salt. I got a half a teaspoon of salt in there. And the last thing I'm going to add to this is I've got some old-fashioned blackstrap molasses. This is molasses I keep in the bottle here. And I'm going to actually put a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses in here. That's 1. I might put another, just a little bit more, because I love the flavor that it gives it, okay? I'll put that in there. Okay. Now we'll put this down, and very slowly we're going to turn this on. Let this start blending together. I know y'all hear me tell you with every video, I wish that we had smell-o-vision, just like years ago when they had television in black and white and we finally had color. I just wish that we had smell-o-vision, and I think maybe one day we will, where you can smell these flavors. The combination of the pumpkin, the molasses, the spices, and everything all together are just incredible. So I'm going to scrape this down. You have this cornbread on the bottom here. Get this all scraped down. Bring it up from the bottom. Okay. Get my little bowl here. And I'm going to blend this just for a few seconds more. Okay, this part of it's done. So what I'm going to do now is I'll be back to you just as soon as my oven hits 400 degrees, and we'll pour it in and we'll take it from there. Alarm is going off right now. My temperature has reached 400 degrees. So I'm going to take my cast iron skillet out of the oven. And as you can see, it's very hot and the butter has all melted in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my pumpkin mixture. I'm going to pour it right into this hot pan. This is going to be so good. Get it all scraped out. I want to get all of it out of here. All right, like I said, the oven was set on 400 degrees. I will probably bake this somewhere between 20 and 24 minutes. I will let you know exactly how long I baked it once it comes back out of the oven again. So I'm going to sort of spread this out a little bit. I want this sort of spread out evenly. Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put this in the oven and we'll be right back. So let's put this in the oven. I'll put this in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 22 minutes. And we'll get started. Okay, now the next step, what we're going to do is when that wonderful pumpkin cornbread comes out, we'll want to eat some of it. But we're going to do something very special. I've got 2 sticks of butter that I put out earlier, softened butter. And I'm just going to mash this around just a little bit about them in my container here. I put this in the Tupperware container so I can pull it out easier. Okay, mash it up a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is I've got 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. I'm going to pour the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in here. But what we're making, we're going to make maple and whiskey butter to go on top of our pumpkin cornbread. So I got the 2 tablespoons of maple in here. Now we'll put 2 tablespoons. I just happen to use Jack Daniels. It's my favorite to cook with. 2 tablespoons of Jack Daniels. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this up, mix this up really, really well. I'm going to get this all incorporated. And then I'm going to put it back in my refrigerator and let it harden up a little bit so when our cornbread comes out, we can put this on there. So I will see y'all in about 20 minutes when the cornbread comes out. We'll take it out. I'll finish mixing this up. You can see it's coming together really well. So I'll see y'all back in about 20 minutes. I just checked our pumpkin cornbread and it's ready to come out, so I'm going to take it out the oven. It was actually in there 24 minutes, so I'm going to take it out now. And this is hot. And there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool down completely, and after it cools, I'll come back to you and we'll slice it and we'll try it with our butter. Our pumpkin cornbread has been out of the oven now and it's been cooling for about a half an hour. I can actually touch the skillet. So I'm going to cut a piece. I want to tell you, there's still a little bit of steam rising off of it. Just the smell of this is just unbelievable. I can get my spatula down here and get this out of here. And there is our pumpkin cornbread. And that's what it looks like on the inside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pumpkin cornbread and I'm going to actually take it just for the purpose of showing you. I've got our butter we've made. I've got our maple bourbon butter that we made. I'm going to take some of this maple bourbon butter, put it right on the top right here. And then when I cut down into it, bite into it, it's going to be delicious. So let's take a taste of it. I'll take my butter, sort of spread on the top here. And usually I would cut it in half and put the butter inside. Okay, so we've got our wonderful pumpkin cornbread here with our maple bourbon butter. Wow. That's a meal that for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's really good. All the flavors come together. And I can't tell you which one I can taste the most. I can taste the pumpkin, I can taste the cornbread, the maple, the bourbon. This is a wonderful recipe to make. It's so simple. And if you don't have a cast iron skillet, you don't have to do it in a cast iron skillet. If you just have just a regular cornware dish, you can still melt butter ahead of time in that. It's just that I love cooking with cast iron whenever I can. This is absolutely delicious. The butter I'll keep for later. If I have biscuits or toast in the morning, I can put that on that also. I hope you'll try this. Thank you so much for following me on Facebook and subscribing to me on YouTube. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you being there for me. Until next time, give yourself a great big hug. And know this is Jim in Mexico saying that I'm thinking about you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, God bless.